Good evening, class. Online class is the AV working? Online class? Okay. We'll start. Today's topics are 11 years of Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana, Article 324 and Election Commission of India transfer of officials, Yuva Sangam, Executive Office without a limit, and One Health approach. Okay. First one is 11 years of Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana. Okay. The first thing about India is, in India if you see occupation or employment, it is divided into two sectors, formal sector and informal sector. In this, compared to the formal sector, the highest percentage of people living, working is in this section higher, informal section. And also, if you see the percentage of people employed, okay, percentage of people employed is higher in this section. Okay, the percentage of people being employed in formal or informal, informal is higher. Who are the people who are employed here? Higher means your women, youth, vulnerable sections, SC, ST, etc. Okay, so your socially disadvantaged section is largely in your informal sectors only. Now the burden on the informal sector is very high. Now alongside this is for employed people we are talking about. Alongside this, there is very high rate of unemployment also in India. Okay, so your government of India thought, how about we try to balance both of this, that is get unemployed people into employment category and the burden of your people employed in informal sector also should be reduced. What is the burden they are facing means, if I told you it is informal sector, monthly they will not get salary. Whenever work is done or whenever they sell the goods, that is when they get the salary. So if we have to bring in much more, okay, let's say a stability in the income, we have to make sure they have to invest more. One thing about businesses, you have to invest more. Either be it you're selling small clothes or outfits or your agarbattis, BDs, all those things that they end up doing. If we have to do that, we need more influx of capital. One issue with both these sectors is there is no collateral or asset. That is, they don't have something to pledge and get the money. If this is not there, then your banks will not give them loans. Because of this, what happens? They continue to be in the same stage and struggle in the same stage. So what happened? Government thought that now we have to do something where unemployment also gets employed. Your people working in informal sector also, that is micro industries, also now enter into full-fledged medium and small scale industries. If we have to do this, then we have to give them collateral free loans. Collateral free loans for this section and this section, which means you don't have to have any asset for me to give you a loan. That was what was started in the name of Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana. Now what happened means, with respect to your Mudra Yojana, these loans will not be given to your corporate section or your farm loans because they already get loans. So Mudra loans were collateral free loans specifically targeted at non-corporate and non-farm loans. Understanding? Does it mean that if these people just go to Mudra, they will get loan income? No. First, they will get a loan from government in their respective sector. Let's say I am particular SHG, women SHG, where the entire 6 to 7 women of us are coming together. What are we doing? Means we are selling agarbattis. Now the 6 to 7 women, we are able to barely gross by hand to mouth existence only. If we need to increase, we are a micro business. If we have to increase from micro business to a small business, I still need capital. Based on whatever I am getting right now, I've gone and asked bank for loan, for SHG specific loans. They will give me 5,000 or 10,000, but that money is not sufficient. Then I will go to Mudra. Mudra is refinancing the loans. It will not give you the loans directly, it will refinance the loan. Already for whatever loan you have taken, they will add amount and give you. Understanding? So Mudra is never a direct loan, it is a refinanced loan. Why we are discussing that means because 11 years has passed since we bought your Mudra Yojana for that region, and also there is a large amount of good things that we have seen in the Mudra Yojana. What does it means? Women are largely benefactors of this. Okay, your SHGs are large benefactors of this. Done? Understood up until here? Why is it in news? Because it is the 11th anniversary of Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana. PM praised its role for financial inclusion and entrepreneurship. These are two main keywords with regarding to Mudra Yojana. Financial inclusion, which means banking has been reached to the unbanked sector and employment has reached to your entrepreneur drive for your both informal sector as well as unemployed sector.
Refinancing is actually, Mudra refinances the microfinance institution. They don't like directly refinance the loans people are getting.
Who gets?
Mudra.
Huh.
Under the scheme, they refinance the microfinance institutions.
Yes.
They don't directly refinance
No.
the loans for people.
No. You have to be some sort of enterprise. Either micro, small, medium enterprise you have to be. Individually, they will not just give you. Individually, in sense, if you're going to start a business, they will give you. Okay, but it should not be like for personal consumption you will take a loan. It has to be something about employment purpose only.
That is it. But then like you can't get a loan under Mudra scheme directly.
Yes, you can't. No, you can't. So, Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana was launched 8th April 2015. It is a flagship scheme by Government of India. Flagship scheme means it is one of the inventory for the entrepreneurship role with respect to your non-farm and non-corporate sector loans. The target here is non-farm, non-corporate, MSME sector, micro, small, medium enterprises. Okay, this is what let's say this is one of the unique features that make Mudra stand out, because they are offering collateral free loans for business ventures, trusting on the people. Understanding? No other banks are giving this. Done? So what is the objective of creating Mudra? Self-employment or entrepreneurship, grassroots entrepreneurs are supported, and formalize the informal sector. What are the core pillars? There are 3 core pillars of your Mudra Yojana. If at all a question is asked in mains, these 3 are mandatory to be there. Banking the unbanked, securing the unsecured, that is moving the informal sector to the formal sector. Lastly, funding the unfunded. So, your financial inclusion and entrepreneurship reaches the grassroots level. Done? So, which is the nodal ministry for your Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana? That is Ministry of Finance. Mudra is a subsidy of SIDBI. SIDB means Small Industries Development Bank of India. This is the one which will initially offer the loan. This is the one that will refinance those loans. Okay. And who are the major money lending institutions if you see for people? SCBs, scheduled commercial banks, RRBs, regional rural banks, NBFCs, non-banking finance companies, MFIs, microfinance institution. How are they getting the money? Through your credit guarantee funds for micro enterprises. Done? What are the key features of your Mudra Yojana? First thing is collateral free loans are given. Second thing is this is a refinancing by Mudra, not the first direct financing. Mudra card they will be given to everyone. Like for example, like your credit card and debit card for business account holders. Like that there is a Mudra card which will have a RuPay debit card and working capital support which they can use it for their businesses to spend for the business. Okay. Now, what are the type of loan categories that are there under Mudra means it is based on the quantity of amount involved. The first category is Shishu, which means small amount of loans. It is up to 50,000 rupees. Now, of all the loans, if you see, maximum section of people are taking only Shishu loans. Why Shishu loans are needed? To start the business. So, this is phase 1 or first stage of starting business. That time because everyone is afraid they take smaller capital and they are given also smaller capital only. Second stage, that is from micro industry, they have to now expand the business if they have to go to next level. But the difficulty or challenges also we will see. Many businesses are still stuck here, they are not going to the next levels. The second stage of this loan category is Kishore. This is from 50,000 to 5 lakh rupees. 24% of people are in this section. Why this loan is asked? It is for expansion of business, not setting up of business. Third stage is Tarun. Tarun is for 5 to 10 lakh rupees capital. Only 2% of people are in this category. This is in order to create like franchisees. Last one is Tarun Plus, which is 10 to 20 lakhs, which is even negligible in number, not even amounting to 1%. This is for advanced growth. Okay, this is how the loan system is, but the disadvantage is maximum section is still remaining here only. Only when it progresses, employment will also increase, your economic value and support also will increase. So what are the achievements of Mudra up until now? 57 plus crore loans has been sanctioned. Out of that, 40 plus lakh crore has been already given out to people, disbursed. Women empowerment has been higher because they are one of the people, or let's say among the entire loan taking people, the highest chunk is women, with 67% of beneficiaries being women and largely targeted at SHGs. That is under your Nari Shakti or women empowerment. Social inclusion, 51% has also been including this ratio pe SC, ST, OBC. Okay. So this is trying to reach your funding, capital investment, you're reducing the relying on your conventional money lenders, peer-to-peer lending, reduces the burden because they will then be charging with high interest rates. So formalization of sector, which means there are 12 crore first time entrepreneurs which are coming, and also this shifts the balance from money lenders to banks. The scale and growth has been seen 2023 of all this from 2015 onwards. The highest peak of people purchasing or taking the loans has been in your 2023-24 where 6.67 crore loans were taken. This maintained a higher credit flow for Mudra, which means entrepreneurship activities were undertaken on a highest scale in this phase. So what are the issues and challenges? First thing, like we told, the Shishu section only dominates. The businesses are not expanding. This is what is creating the missing middle. The businesses are not growing or progressing at all. Next is low credit absorption. People are taking the money, but most times what they are ending up using means for personal consumption reasons. Okay, and also without giving actual tools for business. If you just give them money and tell run a business, that is obviously going to fail. So you need to give them business acumen, technology, integration, all of these things. Okay, the same thing is with respect to sectoral bias. Largely they are giving for trade and service sector, but the reduction is for manufacturing. So this is not creating your employment chain, also is not increasing. Also, rising NPS, non-performing assets. People are taking loans but they are not repaying. If you have collateral, at least you have the fear. I have to pay it or my asset will go. And at least the banks can recover it through your collateral or asset. But here no such thing is happening because it is collateral free loans. Next thing is debt substitution. Usually now why they are taking loans means in order to pay off the old loans, they are taking new loans. So they are telling that this particular concept is not leading to any asset creation, but rather it is just refinancing the old debt. For this, your government has now thought about creating a scenario of integrating artificial intelligence, giving tools for your business acumen, teaching them about your financial literacy, how AI will be integrated means. For example, let's say a particular business will take a loan, but their intention is to use it for personal reason. As soon as your AI detects those, it will flag that account. You will immediately stop it off because loan will not be given. If you ask for 5 lakhs, 5 lakh instantly will not be given. It will be given in stages. So in the initial stage only you can cut off and reduce your NPS. That time you will also instill a sense of financial discipline on the people. We'll see one prelims question from this. With reference to Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana, consider the following statements. It provides collateral-free loans to non-corporate and non-farm enterprises. Correct. Loans are directly disbursed by Mudra Limited to beneficiaries. They are never giving direct loans. It is only refinancing of loans. It aims to promote financial inclusion. Correct. So the correct options are 1 and 3 only. Next, Article 324 and ECI's transfer of officials. In 2021 पे Bengal पे elections were conducted. That point of time, Election Commission of India has one power under Article 324. That is, it has the superintendence, power, authority, etc. to conduct free and fair elections in India. So Article 324 means it is the power of ECI to conduct free and fair elections. That much only Article 324 tells. Elections will be there, that will be conducted by Election Commission of India for your parliament, state legislature and also your president and vice president. So under this, what your Election Commission will do means, it will request president and the governor of that respective state, that executive body is there, no, that is public officials, you give them us. That is, all the executive will now be working for us under the state until and unless we conduct elections for that state. That's it. Now what is the issue means, usually in order to conduct free and fair elections, Election Commission of India will be taking certain advantages. What are those advantages means, 2021 Bengal elections pe, they transferred 78 officials. Okay, 78 officials were transferred because they felt that this particular official is very biased to this party in this constituency. So he being here may not be very much correct for us, so we will transfer him. This is for short term until the election happens only. After that, they can come back to the home cadre if they want. 2026 elections are upcoming for your West Bengal. Your Election Commission of India went ahead and transferred Chief Secretary of, that is the highest position for administrative executives. Chief Secretary of West Bengal was transferred. Your District Superintendent, that is your police forces, were transferred. The number was above 450 plus public officials were transferred. All of this were transferred without even informing the governor of that respective state. Understanding? The question now comes as to, is Election Commission of India overusing its powers and authority? Understanding? Because at the end of the day, if it is not election time, Election Commission of India does not have power to transfer any public official. The law, Parliament clearly states that the only one who can transfer the officials is respective state government only. Now, your Election Commission of India doing without even informing the governor is looking like a overreach and overuse of Election Commission of India powers. Understood? That is the debate. Election Commission of India transferred senior officials in poll-bound states in West Bengal. This also included the Chief Secretary of West Bengal and DGP. This is all the highest positions. In the state, this is the highest level in executive, administrative pay and your police functions pay. This triggered a debate on the Article 324 powers. So what are the powers under Article 324? Constitution of India has told that Election Commission of India will conduct elections with superintendence, direction and complete control of elections. To which bodies? To Parliament, State Legislature, President and Vice President. If in case under your Article 324(6), if the Election Commission wants any executives, it can ask President or Governor to provide staff. That's all Constitution has told. But now because of this, each time Election Commission of India tells, if I have to conduct free and fair elections, I have to do this. With the word of free and fair elections, they are abusing the power or overusing the power debate has been ignited because they have wide powers. Understanding? They have wide powers because of the term free and fair elections. Also, they act as residual authority. We will determine what is good and bad during elections. Okay. So this creates a legal vacuum. That is, your judiciary to intervene also tells that when and where any authority in India acts as the let's say ultimate power, that creates roadblocks for the system that is illegal in the constitution. So we will act as checks and balances. So Supreme Court in Mohinder Singh Gill versus Chief Election Commissioner has told that Article 324 is a reservoir of powers, which means yes, it gives you a lot of wide powers, but it does not mean you get absolute powers. You are free to do whatever you want concept is not there. And it cannot override existing parliamentary laws. That is, transfer of public officials can be made only according to your parliamentary laws. You cannot do anything that will override the existing laws. And also, even Election Commission of India is bound by rule of law, natural justice, making sure that no arbitrariness should be there, and unchecked power is alien to Indian constitution and Indian system. This is your Supreme Court's verdict in Mohinder Gill. Okay. So, what did Election Commission of India tell when asked about why did you transfer? They told, if we have to conduct free and fair elections, we need neutral administration. These officials being in that position was not possible for us to conduct neutral administration. Okay, and we did this is to prevent bias and misuse of state machinery by those particular public officials. Understanding? This is what Election Commission of India held. What are the issues if this persists? First and foremost, lack of statutory backing. There is neither a law nor constitutional provision that tells they have the power to transfer so many people. First thing. RPA Act of 1950 or RPA Act of 1951, which means how to conduct elections. Neither of those laws it is told that, okay, you have the power to transfer officials, but yet they are themselves creating that power. Conflict with the legal framework. All India Services Act of 1951 tells that the immediate control for public officials is with the state government only, not with any other body. So this violates existing laws. Previously, what did I tell? You cannot override existing laws, but this aspect is overriding the existing laws of 50, 51 and All India Services Act. So federalism concerns is becoming as to your election commission is bypassing your elected state governments. It is disturbing the center state balance. Let's say the election commission is favorable to the center. It is not like West Bengal state. So they can do this in order to make sure they have an advantage. This disrupts cooperative federalism and creates conflict federalism. So because of this, there is a concept of central overreach through election commission. Another thing is now the transferred public officials, you are tainting them as biased. Now they will also have the concept of losing of morale when even if they are doing a proper honest work, but you're tainting a picture on them. So it is not like, see, you will come conduct election, you will go back, but they have to still come back and work. When you do these kind of things, that affects their morality and your likeliness to be more towards the people or administration. The last minute changes will always affect the election preparedness. We'll see one question from this.
Just to understand it better, like what is the actual political situation happening over there?
In simpler sense, your union government and your West Bengal government, they don't see eye to eye on political ideology. They are exactly consider them as opposites. In the same current affair class, we would have also discussed when President of India went to West Bengal, the state chief minister had to come receive or cabinet minister had to receive, but they didn't receive. So that much is the anger for both of these people. They don't like each other, political ideology wise. So now your Election Commission of India transferring 450 plus officials in your West Bengal, including Chief Secretary, meant that they are trying to remove the, let's say, any backwater or hurdles they might have, who central government might have. This questions your integrity also and abuse of powers of Election Commission of India, because no state government can dare to go against Election Commission of India, because rule is clear, as long as elections are conducted, that state will come under Election Commission of India. So your West Bengal elections which is going to happen, if it has to happen, they don't like what they are doing, but still they are going ahead with this because they can't even take them to court. They can't.
They override the existing
They are overriding. That is why criticism has happened. But for conducting of elections, they are clearly telling, na, it is because we have to do this free and fair election, means we need neutrality. These officials are not neutral. To prove that, it will take considerable amount of time that they don't have. So for that reason, they are just going ahead with this, and no one can voice out anything against ECI as of now. After elections, they can do. Your Bihar SIR controversy was also that only. Before election, you can talk anything. Same lines pe, Tamil Nadu elections is also coming, April 26. Today, the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu unfurled a black flag, showcasing his anger against delimitation commission. You can do everything before election, but once it is announced, you can't do anything against it. And they have the authority in all this with respect to conducting of elections. Okay. We'll see one prelims question. With reference to Article 324 of Indian Constitution, consider the following statement. It vests the Election Commission with the superintendent's direction and control of elections. Correct. It provides ECI with absolute and unlimited powers over election. No. Constitution, at least wording by it will never do. It has wide powers, but it does not have absolute powers. It applies to election of parliament, state legislature, office of president and vice president. Correct. 1 and 3 are correct. Next, Yuva Sangam. There was a scheme which was started as Ek Bharat Shresht Bharat, which is about cultural unification. That is, India has 28, 29 odd states. Means in all of these states, people might be different, but at the end of the day, they are united by the concept they are Indians. Now, it will help with national integration if the youth of one place went, visited there, and then learnt the culture. All this happened mutually. It is Indian version of youth exchange program that happens in your foreign countries. They make sure, let's say in your USA, UK, European countries, they prefer the concept of foreign exchange so that people will expand their horizons by mingling with the cultures and knowing more about the world. So this is the Indian version of your youth exchange program that is called as Yuva Sangam. Yuva Sangam itself means your youth will go, youth here they are considering from 18 to 30 years of age. So if you are between this age, whether you are educated, you are in pursuing education, you are in graduation, you are in PUC, whether you are just a volunteer who is also working, doesn't matter. You will come under this program where you will go from your state to the designated state. Okay, they themselves will create the programs. There you will stay for 5 to 6 days, see how the universities are, see how the culture are. Okay, apart from travel, you will stay around 5 to 6 days, learn about the culture, come back. That is what is your Yuva Sangam. Why is this in news? Youth exchange happened under Yuva Sangam, where to two places. Students from Bihar was to visit Karnataka. From Andhra Pradesh, they are set to visit Uttar Pradesh. Okay, these two you can write down. Done? Now, what is this Yuva Sangam? It was launched in 2023 by Ministry of Education. What is this? This is Youth Exchange Program. It is also a part of your Ek Bharat Shresht Bharat campaign, that is unite India by knowing the cultural differences and assimilating into one nation. What is the objective of your Yuva Sangam? Unity in diversity, cultural integration, ultimately leading to national integration. This is about more of strengthening interstate connections and youth engagement. Youth here means 18 to 30 years of people. We'll move ahead. Now, the participants of this will be from 18 to 30 years, who will include students, volunteers, young professionals. Here they are not selecting based on whether you are in college, school. They are only selecting based on age. We'll move ahead. So, As of now, 4,795 plus participants have taken part in this. 114 tours has been conducted. All this will be done by Government of India only with various ministries. So what are the main features of your Yuva Sangam? State pairing model. Youth will visit the paired states. Who will do that? Government of India only will do that. Okay, Ministry of Education started this. Under this, various ministry will come to make this happen. They will expose the youth to diverse cultures of each state. The duration is 5 to 7 days excluding the travel time. The institutional role, that is who is or where should we take the students, where the youth should see all this, what are the features that they should witness, that will be undertaken by higher educational institution which act as nodal centers. Done? Now, your entire Yuva Sangam is based on 5P framework. What is that 5P framework? Means Pariyatan, tourism, promoting tourism, also visiting India. Parampara, making sure you embrace the traditions of India. Pragati, for development of India. Paraspar Sampark, people to people connect. And lastly, Pradyogiki, which means technology integration. Done? So as of now, Yuva Sangam is in phase 5. Phase 5 by 20 institutions were selected and they have structured the interstate visit, making sure that anyone who is taking part in this has a immersive learning, experience based learning, virtual learning and also physical learning. All these are a part of this immersive experience. So what exactly are they trying to do with this, or how they are making this happen? Means I told you Ministry of Education has spearheaded this, but in collaboration with various other ministries. Which ministry? Means Ministry of Home Affairs, Ministry of Culture, Ministry of Tourism, Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, your department of your northeastern region, and Ministry of Railways, because tourism also is involved. No? Done? We'll see one question from this. With reference to Yuva Sangam, consider the following statements. It is an initiative of Ministry of Education. Okay. It promotes cultural exchange between different states and union territories. It is limited only to students enrolled in higher education institutions. No, it says youth, which means which includes young professionals, volunteers, anyone between 18 to 30 years of age. 1 and 2 only are correct. One more question. Consider the following statements regarding Yuva Sangam. Participants are generally in the age group of 18 to 30 years. The program involves pairing of states, union territories for exchange visits. So both 1 and 2 are correct. Usually in this, instead of asking the previous kind questions, they will ask this kind of questions. The both 1 and 2 statements are correct. And also if you see, the language here will be very generalistic. So whether you know this or not, this kind of questions attempt it. Next, executive office without a limit. Okay. India has a parliamentary form of government wherein the executive is responsible to the legislature. One thing was, while creating the constitution, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was asked, see, we are picking parliamentary system, which means accountability should be there. What kind of accountability do you think we are going to have? Ambedkar told, in parliamentary system that we have created, we are going to create two forms of accountability. One is daily accountability, okay, and one more is periodic accountability. What is this daily accountability means? This is your daily parliamentary oversight mechanisms. Okay, even when parliament is now in session means they will be introducing bills, they will be seeing how the conduct of the people are. When they are not in session, they have committees. Those committees also will be still scrutinizing your CAG audits and all will be there. So parliamentary oversight will make sure that executive will be responsible to your legislature. Periodic accountability, which means over a period of time, whether the parliament is actually working based on the need of people or not, will be determined by elections. Now, because of both these accountability, we don't need to set a term or limit on your presidential office or prime ministerial office. In our country, president is a ceremonial head, symbolic head. So for that person, just telling only 2 terms you have to work will be meaningless. So what we will do is we will not keep any limit. One person can be president for any number of terms. Prime minister, see, for the in constitution there is no specific designed concept telling that this fellow will work only for 5 years. He will work as long as he has the support of Lok Sabha, otherwise called as collective responsibility. So his term can be even less than 5 years. After 5 years, they will go for elections. So internal mechanism itself is there. They are being held accountable. Why do we need to put terms on this? For example, let's say Nelson Mandela. When he was the one who held power, he voluntarily resigned after first term as the president of South Africa, telling that I should not cling to power. Okay. Your US presidential system pe, US president can become US president only for 2 terms of 4 years each. Your parliament pe, in Britain, if the members don't like their own leader, they can just remove him. That concepts are there here also. But what has happened means there is something called as anti-defection law, or the concept of anti-defection. If your party whip tells the members vote like this, you have to vote like that. If they tell pass the bill yes, they have to pass the bill yes. If they don't, then they can take disciplinary action, so much of even removing that person from power. Understanding? Because of this, these people can't even remove their own leader if they don't like him. So this concept will be gone. The members can't remove the person. So this anti-defection concept was not there originally in the constitution. It was introduced through your 52nd Constitutional Amendment Act. And it was inserted in the 10th schedule of the constitution. Okay. Now what they are telling means, in a country like India, is it fine to have this section of president and prime minister continuing for any number of terms without a limit? For that, first they are telling president is a symbolic or ceremonial position. It doesn't matter whether you give a term or not, because real power and authority is with Prime Minister of India. When you don't set your time frame for prime minister, setting time frame for president is useless. Second thing is, if you see who are the longest serving prime ministers in India, first position is Jawaharlal Nehru. Second position was held by Indira Gandhi, but this was trumped by your Narendra Modi. Okay, he became the second longest serving prime minister. Now, with these concepts in picture, let's say if we feel like, okay, let us introduce a term for prime minister. This will create a huge constitutional amendment. Legally, it is very strong because you have to change a whole lot of aspects. So, this is just a debate. Understanding? No bill has been introduced, no such things is happening. So, why is it news? Debate on the term limits for prime minister. Why? Because prolonged incumbency. If one person only is in power, this might create a cult leadership. The decisions will not be taken by cabinet, the decisions will be taken by PMO. And also, concentration of power will not be suited for democracy. When power is divided among various democratic institutions, democracy works better. But when one person is only having ultimate power, then that might lead to your hero worship or the concept of cult worships. So, what is the constitutional position? There is no fixed tenure either for Prime Minister or President of India. PM continues the office till he has the confidence of Lok Sabha. They are having unlimited re-elections. Any number of time they can be the Prime Minister. So, Ambedkar was telling we have daily accountability with parliamentary oversight mechanism, period accountability with the concept of elections, and we are following the Westminster model. Accountability mechanisms, how are we holding them accountable? Through your no confidence motion, question hour, adjournment motion and elections. All these are fine, but in your anti-defection, you can't pass anything against what your party whip tells. So even if you want, you can't do what you do. So where exactly is the accountability? They are telling your anti-defection has somewhat diluted this accountability mechanism. So, what is the limitation that is happening to the accountability? First one is anti-defection law, which was brought about by a 52nd constitutional amendment in 1985, added in 10th schedule. What does it tell? The MPs are bound by the party whip. What they tell, they are supposed to do. This will weaken the no confidence motion. Their own party can't pass no confidence motion against them because they themselves will lose power. So this is diluting the periodic accountability. Okay, second is in Kihoto Holohon versus Jachiluhu, whatever this thing is. Okay, in this particular case, your Supreme Court upheld the validity of anti-defection law, telling that this is very much important for us to continue a stability in politics, because there is also a concept of your horse trading usually that happens, which means MPs will keep jumping from one party to another just so that they can get higher positions. So to prevent that, they brought this anti-schedule. Supreme Court upheld anti-schedule, but anti-defection has brought what? Your reduction or dilution of accountability. So, along with weak intra-party democracy, inside political party what happens? No one will show outside. Transparency is not there. So, which means dynastic politics will continue. This coupled with your anti-defection has reduced the concept of accountability. Now, there is also one legal loophole that we see in your Rajya Sabha. Rajya Sabha pe, if you have to be a member, let's say, one example I'll give you. This Lok Sabha elections which happened, general elections, Rahul Gandhi contested from 2 seats. One was Kerala, one was UP, right? Why do people contest from both seats when they are unsure that I may or may not win? At least in one seat I'll win. In this, Rahul Gandhi is not from Kerala, but yet he was able to do. Why? Because if for Rajya Sabha, there is one provision that tells you don't have to be from that state at all. You just have to be a citizen of India. But Lok Sabha is not like that. You have to be from that particular place. So what this happens means, it is almost showing my own local electors will not vote for me, but I will find one safe state. That is, in this state, this party only will win. There, if I go stand, irrespective of me, they will vote for the party. So when you create like this, you are fooling the system in different ways. So that exploitation is happening. And also we are telling for Prime Minister of India, you can be either from Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha. There has been many Prime Ministers who are from Rajya Sabha also. So in Kuldeep Nair versus Union of India case, Supreme Court upheld that, okay, you don't have to have for Rajya Sabha, you have to be from that particular state. So this loophole is being utilized well. By utilized well, it further dilutes the accountability concept. Next. Now if you see some arguments, no, we have to keep term limits. What are those means? This will prevent power concentration because it will lead to centralization in PMO. PMO is taking decision instead of cabinet. Second is it will strengthen democracy. It will protect checks and balances. Third is it will encourage new leadership. With new leadership comes new ideas and leadership rotation. So these are the arguments which are speaking we need this concept of terms. Alongside this, if we compensate with respect to your anti-defection and term limits, all will act as a combining factor. Your Nelson Mandela ka example where they have told that voluntarily if they exit it would be better, but who do you think will voluntarily exit like that in India? Your country like Mexico, for example, Mexico has this provision where President of Mexico can only serve for one term. That one term will be 6 years. That's it. This is again to prevent concentration of power. Now, what are the arguments against creating term limits? First thing is democratic freedom. When the people themselves are okay with the leader and electing them, then who are we to change that concept? Okay. Second thing is lame duck problem. Let's say if we create something like this, the person who is in power, just to make sure, okay, 2 terms have served, now I will bring some loyalist in my place and he will work exactly like how I tell. So in a way I am only doing the work. So what is the point of creating something like a lame duck issue? And if you create something like, okay, 2 years term, first year will be fine, second year half work only it will be fine. Why? Because the next half everyone will be focused on who the next successor will be. So this person will become weak. We'll see one question. With reference to the tenure of Prime Minister in India, consider the following statements. The Constitution prescribes a maximum of 2 terms for Prime Minister. The Prime Minister remains in office as long as he or she enjoys the confidence of Lok Sabha. There is no constitutional restriction on the number of terms a person can serve as Prime Minister. So 2 and 3 only. Last one health approach. This is an older scheme only. It is as the name states. Human health, zoonotic or animal health, animal health pe only bird health, all those will be added. Third is ecosystem health. All this has to be integratedly seen as one holistic health system. Thus the name One Health approach. And this if we try to do, then we will be trying to have sustainable development. Why are they trying to tell that? For example, if you see, if at all any infections or diseases are spreading, means 57 to 67% of the time, the cases are because of it being spread from animals to human beings. So if we target an integrated approach, we can reduce the inception of diseases itself. Why in news? Because this particular concept was highlighted in the World Health Day of 2026, wherein it focuses on pandemic preparedness, zoonotic disease and climate linked risks. This is brought about by your France. France is also spearheading the program of One Health Framework. In this, 180 plus institutions are taking part. India is also one of those. Thank you, online class. Okay. So, when is the World Health Day? On 7th April. This marks why 7th April is celebrated as World Health Day means because this was the day when your World Health Organization was formed in 1948. The theme for 2026 is Together for Health, Stand with Science. This becomes important for statement kind of questions. Done? What is this concept of One Health? It is an integrated approach dealing with human health, animal health and environmental health. So, interdependence of all life systems if we take into picture, there will be sustainable growth and development on the planet. Now, what are the core principles of your One Health approach means? Holistic approach, combining all the disciplinary branches, multi-sectoral coordination, preventative healthcare. You don't wait for healthcare after a disease arises or a pandemic arises. Be prepared before only. Last is shared governance among all the models. That is why they are conducting in your France spearheading the program. To which levels they will apply? First to the community level, national level, regional level and global level. Why does India need this concept of One Health approach means? First and foremost, we have high biodiversity, which means 2.5%, 4% of land has roughly about 8% of species. This has high human and animal interaction. So, if at all anything animal gets, the possibility of it being transmitted to a human is very higher. Second, zoonotic diseases. 60 to 70% of diseases which are spreadable is because of animal origin. Example are like your Nipah, avian influenza, that is bird flu, rabies, all of these. And also, India has a huge livestock population. That is your animals which are used for, let's say, we have this concept where India started with your white revolution, which means for that we needed a lot of livestock. Livestock is brought in means the interaction between human and animals also increases higher. So because of that, we have a disease bridge. Second thing is, be it for humans in our country or animals in our country, we have excessive usage of antibiotics because we can buy antibiotics over the shelf. Okay, we don't need, or see in many tier 1 cities they will follow that we need prescription, but it is not always followed throughout India everywhere. That is why we have high levels of antimicrobial resistance because of overuse of antibiotics, which creates superbugs, which means the diseases are resistant to the vaccines that we currently have in existence. Another most important thing is climate change impact. Because of climate change, lot of vector-borne diseases are increasing. Which means it is spread through one particular thing. Let's say this is a recent study where earlier the one live example would be, there was this Netflix show called Kalapani. It's fine. So what happens is there are many harmful microorganisms which are submerged. Okay, there is completely their inactive form, ice पे. But now because of your global warming, melting of ice caps has started largely. When all these melting is happening, these microorganisms are coming back to life. They are creating diseases. Now let's say your mosquito comes in contact with it, or something else comes in contact with it, your fishes. Now when you keep coming in contact with it, and that keeps coming in contact with human beings, now there is this particular alarming thing that they found out. In one Arctic country, there is not supposed to be mosquito at all. But they found mosquitoes in a state that has never had a mosquito problem, which means that mosquitoes are vector borne, that people never had to worry about the mosquito bred diseases. Here the disease are being transmitted by one medium. That medium here is mosquito. Those are called as vector borne diseases. Mosquito itself is not spreading the disease. It is just a carrier of this disease. Vector borne means carrier based disease. So your National One Health Mission, where this is anchored by National Institute for One Health in Nagpur. It is implemented by your ICMR. What is the main important features? If you see, 13 plus departments are involved in trying to find out if a vector-borne disease or a zoonotic disease is coming. We have to detect early. Second thing is, we already have to create a log of all the research and development, and we have to share this data across all these particular ministries and departments. Okay, so with this, alongside wildlife animal monitoring, if we do, we will be able to handle this scenario. Okay. So one prelims question we will see from this. With reference to One Health approach, consider the following statement. It recognizes the interdependence of human, animal and environmental health. It is limited only to controlling zoonotic diseases. No, human, animal, ecosystem. It promotes multi-sectoral coordination. Yes. So correct options are 1 and 3 only. With this, we are done with today's topic. Any doubts? Anything you didn't understand? Online class, any doubts? Anything you didn't understand? We'll end the session then.